let's get started with this morning's video. So, hey, guess what? I cut my fingernails. I trimmed them down, and it turns out I can still play rock guitar with smaller fingernails. So the first thing I want to do is just clean up my airy loop here. This is an airy loop. It's a very good loop. Highly recommended. As you can see, it just grabs onto your glasses so you don't have any issues. And I've got, these are bifocals, so the top part here is my reading part, and that's around a 1.2, I think, about a 1.2. And then the bifocal part here is on the top, on the bottom, top here but bottom when you're wearing them, is a 3. So it's around a 3, so which gives me the perfect focal length for doing watch work. So, and when I flip this up, I believe it's a 5 flipping up in here. So a 5 flipping up. Is there any markings on this thing? Tell me it's a 5. I don't know. So today I'm going to be reassembling an old vintage Tissot watch. So there's tons of parts here. So I put them through my cleaning machine yesterday, and there we go. And I don't think I lost any parts. Made sure I dumped everything properly. So there are all the parts, and I've got the balance here on my balance tack holder that I have that takes the stress off the balance. And so I'm going to use, because I couldn't find any documentation on how to reassemble this baby, is I'm going to have to use photos to bring it back to life again. So the first things first, I've got my Myers number 58 movement holder, which is a beauty, right? So, and I would like to use this today and fit. I suspect that this part here is a little bit too big, so I want to get the smaller ones here. My mat's looking pretty messy because it's got all the pieces of everything on it, right? I think I need a new mat, but there we go. So I think that maybe trying to see which one might fit here. I think maybe this one will fit, these two here. So I can throw those back in the box. There's a little divider there to keep that in. This is a vintage for sure. So just pop that out like that, and then pop this one out on this side. Like that. And then I've got to pop this in, sort of just poke it in the edge and then slide it in like so. And this one looks dirty. Maybe I should get my other Myers number 58 movement holder, because this one looks a bit dirty. Alright, I'm back. So I got my second one here. I know I'm greedy because I've got two, but this one's way shinier, which means I spent a lot of time. I made a little bit of a divider in this one too with a business card. So I wanted to get the two pieces out that I think would work. I think these are them there. Put these ones back, and then close the lid. Close the lid. Close the lid. Don't ask me why I'm saying that in slow motion. Anyway, this is the Tissot watch I'm going to reassemble that I'm afraid of. So I made the video of taking it apart, but now I've got to put it back together again. And as I said before, I'm going to have to use photos from my phone, because I asked around and no one's got a manual for this puppy dog. So I have to figure out, I got to kind of reverse the assembly. My mat's getting a bit dirty here, but I'll change it soon, but I don't plan on using the mat here to do anything. Interesting. Yeah, so I want to first of all grab the main plate and put it in. But I think I will use some gloves for this job. There, now if I can manage to keep my other hand away from everything and just use it for the tweezers, then I won't have an issue, will I? Will I? So let me just grab the plate here. I'm going to have to look at my telephone though and see what order I took this watch apart. So that's the base here, and yeah, I think that Yeah, that's where the mainspring goes, yabba dabba doo, yada yada yada. So this, look how nicely this movement holder fits this. It's just almost like they knew what they were doing back then. So you do this and then you crimp it down like that, and that ensures that you got it in the right position. But I want to orient it to the pictures I have on my phone. So I'm going to get my phone out and see what photos I have. There you go. There's a whole bunch of photos on how to reassemble this watch. Hopefully there's enough of them in here, or else I'm in trouble. So there's the balance here, and the balance cock and all that stuff. Everything's been cleaned. Alrighty then, the first thing I'm going to do is put in the center wheel. I believe that goes right here. Again, this is trial by error here as I reassemble this watch. And then I've got to put in the pallet fork and its bridge. And the pallet fork I have here, but I looked at it. It's been cleaned, but I don't, there's the tiniest little hair right here. The watches can pick stuff up. So now I've got the pallet fork to put in, and there's the world's smallest hole to put it in. So I'm going to put it right here. I believe this is where it goes, right here. There we go. That's where the pallet fork goes, and then there's a pallet fork bridge, and this is the bridge for the pallet fork right here. And let me speed this whole thing up and then dub over the top. What do you think? I think I pissed off a lot of people last time I did that. So I'm not quite sure whether I should do this or not. There's where the screws go. I need a toothpick. I need my buddy the toothpick. Where are you, Mr. Toothpick? I hit the camera a few times here. Just to let you know it's real. Real, I tell you. There's my buddy the toothpick. And this goes in right here. Like so. There we go. Now the question is the pallet fork in place? I actually think it is. So I'm going to put the screws in very lightly, but I'm not going to tighten them down. So the screws for the pallet fork come out of this basket I've got way over here. And if I can get one screw in, then I'm not too concerned here, but I'll just put some pressure on this bridge here. And then grab my screwdriver. The one I think is the right size for this. That's in there. Look at the side of the bridge here to make sure it's not popping out. And the pallet fork still seems to be good. And I'm just going to put some different glasses on so I can look at the upper pivot of that pallet fork. So I think I might want to try to get the camera coming up from this side so you guys can see very close up what's going on here. Well, that's pretty darn close right there, so I'm not sure whether this will interfere with my hands as I reassemble this watch. So, and I'm going to take my time reassembling it, so it might take more than one video to do this, because I'm cutting in and cutting out on my videos. I have to make sure it's recording the audio, so I can say stupid things as I'm assembling this watch. And I want to be very calm here as I'm doing this. Because it's, so I think that my hand get in here without touching the camera? No, I just want to make sure that this is... I think I'm good here. And I'm going to look up really close to see if I got the bridge in here. Or I'm going to see if the pivot is sticking through. Yeah, it looks like the pivot's sticking through, so I'm good. Like I said before, I don't do a lot of watches, so I think I've got success on both sides here, which is nice. So I'll just... There we go. So I just cracked the tip of my screwdriver blade. It was a bit thin, and I just cracked it. Let's see if you can see that here. There we go. See the tip of that blade? It's cracked now. So now I've got to trim that blade or just grab another one. I may just grab another one. I don't have time to trim blades right now. So, but that's in nicely. And then just take a toothpick and just touch it. And that's really good. So phase A done. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this blade. I'll deal with trimming it later. But I'm going to get rid of this blade here because it's... the end is kind of cracked. And you can see how these blades have a flat part. Let's put it right over here. And that's where the screw comes in, right where that flat part is on the end of the blade. So just put that aside. And I know I've got like a lot of different blades here, so I'll just pick a new one. This one, see which one looks super new. Looking at the tips of these things to see if I can find the one that's perfect. That one's been broken off, probably replaced it already. And this one's been broken off, probably replaced it already. What's this one look like? This one's at an angle, don't like it. Jeez, I think I have to go in. I think I need to go and fix all my blades. Holy crapoli, as they say. I think this is the best one right here. So I'll put that one in there, and then I need to go and spend an afternoon just fixing my blades so they don't look so friggin' ugly on the end, because it makes for terrible watchmaking if you try to use a blade that's not flat or not the right size or not whatever. So and when I put these in here, I make sure that the blade is lined up with the screw, so it goes in about that far. Push this in a little bit. It's about that far. I'll put that blade in and be right back. Alright, now the escapement needs to go in. Look at the position of the escapement with respect to the pallet fork. So I've got to tuck this underneath. Very carefully, and then make sure the hole of the escapement is in the right place. And I may have to put on different glasses to get that in. Alright, I had to get up close and dirty. I'm wearing these glasses here that I have that are super close to get that escapement in place. So now I've got a quandary because I don't have a picture that shows the plate from the bottom, unless I can figure this out somehow. I know that I know that the mainspring then goes in. Mainspring goes in right here, so I think I'm okay putting the mainspring in, but I don't think there's a spring under the mainspring, so I think I'm okay putting that in. Like that. Not sure if that's in or not. I think that's in there. That's the mainspring. It's going to drive this wheel right here. So then I've got this photo, and I'm trying to figure out, I got some wheels on the top. The wheels on the top go round and round, and I got to put those in, but I'm not quite sure how that would go in. So I got a couple of other plates that I need to deal with. So like, I know this plate here is a plate that probably goes over the mainspring barrel. So I'm looking at it like this. I'm thinking, okay, this plate goes over the top here. But, you know, if I put it in and then find out that there's something else that needs to go in there, I'm screwed. Kind of like that. That looks okay. Assuming that mainspring is in place. And this plate here went over the top, but I only see one screw that goes in over it, which means there's a screw here, which means there's another screw that somehow goes over here. I think that's for the click spring maybe, or something, right? So we'll just put this in. I'll just put this screw in here, and like that, and see if I can. I think my wife is in the bathroom trying to unplug the drain or something in the shower. I hear all sorts of activity over there. There we go, that's in. Now I've got to do some other examination here to figure out how to build some other stuff out of this up. So now I think the next plate that goes on here is this one right here. So, and I think it's, well, it goes on like this here, I believe. Or it goes on the other way. No, it goes on this way. And it kind of, yeah, so the little holes, in the ground go round and round. Yeah, anyway, this goes like this. But there's a little jewel hole right there, so you'd think that would go over the top, like that, and not the other way. Because I've got to line this darn thing up. I'm just going to throw it down and see what it looks like in position. Well, there's one screw there and another screw there, and then there's the stud holes that are here and here. So the screw holes, though, I believe are here. So you'd think it goes like that. But that doesn't make any sense at all, because it's right over the top of the mainspring. So it can't go like that. So it has to go. It has to go like this. goes like this. And then this wheel here would go right through like that. So it goes like that. And then I've got a couple of screws to put in here. I know why that the factories have manuals now. Because without a manual, you're kind of guessing of reassembly. I'm looking. I thought I took pictures of everything, but maybe I missed one. So I'll put this in like that, and I'll just hold this plate down with my tweezers lightly. Again, I don't want to tighten it too much because I think that I'm not sure about that center wheel pivot, whether it's in or not. I think it is in, but if I tighten it too much and it's not in, I could have a real problem there. No, that's in. I can see the top part. Looking through the jewel hole here, and I can see this being in right there. And what I want to do now is put just a spot of oil in there where that jewel is. Just a tad of oil. There we go. And I'll put a tad of oil on top of the go. And then, so that's good, like that. And I believe the next wheel to go in. I'm looking at my photo here. There's my photo up close, which is terrible to look at from up close. So there's my photo. So I believe the next wheel that needs to go in. I've got the click spring here and the screw for the click spring, which I think goes on this side here after I put the click spring in. But I need to have the spring for the click spring, I think, as well. And I got to make sure that I got all that put in place. That might be another picture I'm going to look for. But anyway, so this is in now, so that's good. And this is in like this. So I've got this in. I think I tighten the yeah, I tighten that, which is good. And I'm sure the click spring goes here, and there's a spring that goes all the way around here for the click spring. I probably took that out a little earlier, and I just have to find the photo where it shows where it's back in there again. So now I believe I can throw some wheels in there. So the first wheel that would be thrown in there is this one here. And I think that goes right through the hole. I think it does anyway. It goes right in like that. There we go. Hoping that's in place. And then the other wheel here goes all the way through the center pipe, like this. Actually, I think I'll put a little oil in that center pipe before I put that wheel in, just to make sure that it's properly oiled. A little bit of oil on there. There we go. And now I can put that safely put the center wheel in. And it'll go all the way through that pipe and all the way down. There we go. That's in there. It's not looking too bad now. And now I'm looking at the next picture here, but this next picture doesn't show me how that spring went in. Damn it. Yeah, so it shows me that I've got to put that click spring in. It doesn't show me how that thing went in. There's also, when I've cleaned the watch, there's this little tiny piece of whatever here, and I'm not sure where that goes. So, not getting much focus here. There, this little round piece of whatever goes somewhere, I think, because it was in a basket, but I'm not sure whether it was a leftover from some other cleaning or what. So there's the click spring here. So this would go on the top and towards the edge, and then there would be a spring that goes around there that keeps it in place. You grab this so it stays out of the way. Yeah, and I believe that the little knobby goes down on it, so a needle pulling thread. So I'm struggling here. I believe it goes in like that. It goes in like this here. But then there has to be a spring right in here. So I'm trying to remember whether when I took that spring out or whether I took the spring out. I got some springs on the side here that I know I have to deal with. The click spring, it might be this one here. I don't know. No, that's way too big to go in there. It's not that one there then. So which spring is it? Or is there a spring? Or do I put it in later? I don't know. Because when this rattles by, when this goes by, it's going to have to, the spring is going to have to engage. And maybe actually if I look in the bottom of the plate, I'll find the spring. There's a plate I got to put in here, but I don't think there's a spring down there somewhere. Is there? No spring. So I'm going to hunt for this spring. Oh, wait, I see a spring. There's a spring there. Now the question is, which direction does the spring go? I think it goes the other way. The other way. Alright, I think the mystery is sort of solved. So, I remember underneath this click here, there's a little post. And so that post would probably be touching this spring on the inside, which means the spring would have to go in this way, but basically moved over so it touches the post, right? Which makes sense. And I learned a long time ago, never put a spring in unless you've got some Rotico holding it in place, because you'll likely screw up. So I just put some Rotico down here and like that. It's probably too much Rotico. And then if I move the spring over, looking at the bottom where the post is, Alright, the post is on the inside. So the post is over here on this side, which means I want the spring to be over on this side. So this is going to be pretty tough to put in place, I think, this spring. This is going to be a pain in the ass. Only because things like this are normally a pain in the ass. Let me see what this looks like from the top here. I need to put my glove back on, I think, so I can hold it down with my finger. Yep. It's a Kippy-yay, Father Mucker. Kippy-yay, Father Mucker. I am not sure exactly how to put the spring back in, but I know that I'm going to be farting with it and it's going to piss me off. So let's just move it over like this and put it in place. It's got to go underneath this where the post is, though. Like that. And then I've got to kind of hold it down. You know what I also have to do, I think, is put that screw in place. If I don't have the screw in there, then that's not going to work. So I think I need to screw this in lightly before I put the spring in place, because if I don't, it's not going to work. Just put that screw in there. One thing I don't want is for that spring to go flying out. Okay, so that screw is, this is sort of in place. You see that spring just bing, flies out. So I want to be able to put that spring in place, but these are so hard to put in place. That's why I work on pocket watches. I know I got to get this thing underneath here. And then I gotta put my finger down, and then I gotta tuck the spring in like that. Now the thing I don't want is, see there, the spring is in there now. The thing I don't want is for that spring to go flying out now, so I gotta quickly put that bridge in there before that spring decides to go, see you later. See you later, buddy. So I want to put this ratchet wheel in here, I think it's called. Get this out of the way here and get this friggin' ratchet wheel. I think there'll be some swearing going on this afternoon. So I can't pick the fracking thing up right now because it wants to stick on the friggin' plate. So give me the daggone ratchet wheel. I'm trying to keep from swearing here. I'm really being good. Alright, so this goes over like that. Like this, and then pretty sure the screw for this is this one here. Yep. Bear in mind, everything's been scrub-a-dub-dubbed. If I get this in, then do I have the spring on the right side? You know what? I don't think I have it on the right side. I think it's got to be on the inside of this post. Yeah, because this would go, it moved anyway, but it would push against here. So it has to push outward. So let me grab this again. So I'm going to fart around with this until I get the spring in place. Alright, I found the fracking spring. It only took me half an hour. Here it is here. And it was on the floor in the carpet. If you can believe me, I actually leaned over to the left-hand side and found the spring. So my plan B was to make one out of guitar string, and I would have to pound it flat to fit in there, or go buy a lighter gauge of guitar string. I know I've got wire somewhere too that I bought that's supposed to be pivot wire, but it's really small, so that would have worked too probably. So now I got to be super careful to not ping the spring again, because if I ping it again I'm going to be swearing like you wouldn't believe on this video. So there you go. So now I've got the spring. So now the question is, like I said before, the spring has got to go, I think it's got to go, I think I'll use Rotico, because if I don't use Rotico I'm going to lose this damn thing again. So the spring, just pick this up with the Rotico. I believe it's got to just go like that, because it's going to be pushing this click the other way, right? So I don't have my gloves on right now, so I'm a bad boy, but that's how the spring goes in. It pushes the click, and so when it tucks in here like so, like that, it's pushing the click. I don't want to lose this friggin' thing again, so I'm not sure what to do here. If I take my hands off it, is it going to fly? Please don't fly. Please be my friend. I'm really worried. Really worried. I'm going to put this wheel on fast before the spring takes another friggin' jump. I'm worried. I don't have my gloves on, but right now I don't care. I got to get this friggin' wheel on fast, or else I'm in big trouble again with Mr. Spring. Alright, spring's still on. All I need to do is get this screw in place. I think I'm going to put pressure on the wheel. I think this is right. Anyway, let me do this anyway, because I think it's right. Great, magnetized screwdriver. Fuck. I just swore. This is really pissing me off. Is it on the right way? That's the question. Spring is still in there. Yeah, it is. Let's get this thing down there fast. I'm going to touch this with my bare finger, but too bad. There we go. I think that's good. I'm going to have to look at the picture to make sure that I've got the right feel here. And you know what? I don't. Because I got to have the main plate on here before I put the ratchet wheel in. So I screwed up. Anyway, I'm not stressed anymore, but that spring is still going to have to come out again, or the ratchet wheel is going to have to come off first of all, and then I'm going to have to put that plate back on. Alright, I need to put the main plate on first before I put that ratchet wheel in there. And the main plate goes on like this. Actually, I could have put the ratchet wheel on and then put the main plate on. Damn it. Damn it. Ratchet wheel could have gone on before the main plate goes on. So let me do that again and try not to lose this. Try not to. You know what's odd is that I'm looking at this main plate and I think that it goes on the other way. I'm only thinking that because yeah, I'm looking at the picture and this sits down into the groove to give it more space for the screw and the ratchet wheel to get in, to basically snug in there. Like that. And then like this. I'll get that screw in down a bit and then I'm going to see if I can cover every part of this so the spring flies off and it'll get effed again. There. Theoretically that spring cannot fly off now. Now, if I put the main plate on, like so, like this, I think the main plate goes on. Kind of meets this right here, so it goes on like that. Hard to put these on when you've got your hands in there. But kind of goes on like that and it should fall into place here. I'll lightly put some screws on. And then allow myself to, there's 3 screws that go in here. And 1, 2, and then the third one that goes in as well. So I just want to make sure that all the pivots are sticking out of the holes before I tighten this down significantly. This friggin' thing needs to be demagnetized. So, which I just found out. So I'm just tightening these down super loose. Now that I got that little spring in there. And who knows, I may have screwed something up and have to take this apart again. Who knows? Who knows? Like Doctor Who knows. Let me just look at the pivots here. So, the real pivot I'm worried about is the escapement pivot. So I'm just going to tighten this down just a tiny bit here. There we go. And then I'm going to peek and poke, make sure that the pivots are in, and I'll be right back. Alright, I used my famous poker here, and it was the escapement that needed to just be pushed over just a bit. So I pushed that, and the whole plate dropped down, which is nice. I think I'll tighten these two screws here first, though, just to make sure they're in there. And I'm not tightening them down hard, I'm just snugging them in. And this is so the pivots don't fly out. And all you do is touch the center wheel and you'll see the thing spin, right? So, which is good. Now, without tightening anything, I need to take a piece of pegwood or toothpick, and there, just moving the wheel here, and I can see the pallet fork go back and forth, which is perfecto, folks, perfecto. Yeah, that's good. So now I believe I can see the pivots through the top. I can tighten this down now. You just have to look and make sure the plate is exactly flat against the other plate. If there's a gap and you're tightening it, you're likely going to break something underneath. So that's that now. So that's what that looks like now. So you see that friggin' spring under here that's pissed me off? I don't mind saying it. This spring was right here and it was on the wrong side of the post. So now when you turn the mainspring, see that? It hangs in there. And now that I've turned the mainspring, with any luck the pallet fork will snap back. And it is. Perfect. So that's really good. So that's working nicely. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the top. Just grab the oil here, and this is the 90-10 oil I'm going to use here. So just a little dab of oil on the top. Again, like I've said before, if you pull your oiler out fast, it'll leave more oil on. So if you want a little less oil, pull your oil out slowly. There we go. So some 90-10 on there. I think we're good. And now I have to put the ratchet, the crown wheel in. I think that's called the crown wheel. One of them is a crown wheel, the other one's a ratchet spring. I'm always screwing it up. So. And I think the screw, I'm going to look at what side the screw goes on in this one, because it's kind of, there's only one screw, which is odd. So I'm going to see if I have a picture of that, because maybe the other screw goes all the way through, right? Because that does happen. Yeah, if you look at that picture, the screw is on the far side, right? So I'm looking at it and put the ratchet wheel in. If I orient my watch to where my picture is, which you should do, like that, and I know that this goes in like this, and then this goes in. And let me see if there's a difference between left and right on this thing here, and I don't think there is. No, it's center posted, no difference between left and right. But before I put that in, I'm going to put a little dab of oil again. And this is just to make sure that the there's some lubrication in there for the post that goes in here. Just put a little tiny bit in there. There we go. And now, I'm so lucky I was able to find that that spring. I know you guys have done this before, but it's like, my wife will tell you how much I was swearing there. The term feather mucker came up a few times, and finding it was just dumbass luck. It's like, holy crap. Just reached over to the left down below, and I of course have a watchmaker's carpet down there, which is the worst thing to have. And I'm not sure if the screwdriver is too small or not, too big. Maybe not. I can start it off anyway. Come on. There we go. It's in there nicely. I think there's supposed to be another screw here, but it was missing. So I may end up putting another one in. Unless it's a screw, like I said, the top plate comes on top, and then there's often another screw that goes on top of that. So that's that there. And so I've got this pretty much, let's put my camera up here, I got this pretty much put together now, like that, and then I'll look, that's the bottom of one of the plates that goes on the top like that. So I'm gonna, that's the next thing to go on. I look at all the parts and make sure I'm not missing any parts here when I reassemble this. I think that the other side of the watch is a little trickier. Once you get to the back end of this watch here, then you're into some pretty tricky stuff. So I think I may leave that for later. So I'll be all stressed out after this. I think I just have to put that mechanism back on the top here, and then I'm good to go. Good to go. But first, I'm going to go have some lunch, because if you're hungry, it doesn't work well. Alrighty then. Alright, so this is all together now nicely. I just put a bit of a wind on here, and I did the snap test, and the pallet fork is snapping back and forth nicely, which is nice. It's nicely doing that, which is a nice thing. So it's very nice. So I think that I will attack a bit of the other side first before I flip it around and put the winding mechanism on. So I think the other side warrants some work. And there's lots of stuff to do on this side, so it's not the easiest part of the watch to put together. So I'm not sure where I should rest this, like this maybe, or up top. Maybe up top. I don't want to squeeze it too much though, but the plates are all in, so it's good. It's good there. So I need to put in parts. That's what I need to do. I'm making no sense at all. Yeah, I'm gonna put the other stuff in after, I think. I think I'm going to do that after. Yeah, it's probably the best thing to do. Just start assembling some of the face. Yeah, because I don't want the rotor to get anything to happen to the rotor. So I think the bottom part would be the best part to put in. So one part at a time. So let's just get started here. Put the Canon pinion in. It would probably be a good idea to throw that thing in first. And just go straight down. I should be able to just push it down without a problem. There it goes. So the Canon pinion's in. And then I've got the Jobby Doohickey thingamajig. I got this star configuration thing here. So this thing here. So I gotta orientate the watch so it's the same as the picture I'm currently looking at. And if I'm looking at the picture here, the star thing goes right here. I'm gonna need to have to put over my flip overs in a second here. That's where this goes here, and this moves over like so. It doesn't look like it has a spring on it, but who knows? Who knows? So I gotta, this wheel then goes in next. It looks like there's something underneath this wheel. Yeah, what is that? Oh, I think it is, just move this over to the side. It's this configuration here, which I don't get. It's this thing here. Yeah, and it goes like that. I think this just goes straight in, which makes little to no sense. I may have to check some other pictures here. Yeah. Let me see. Time to cough. When in doubt, cough it out. Yeah, it looks like this just floats on top, but that kind of doesn't make any sense because there's this. Why would it just float on top? Excuse me. I was watching Bun Special today, and the Bunmeister said, he said, "Oh, sorry, I have coughing." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. You are the man." This might go in like this, backwards, which I think it does. And then it fits into the cycle right here. There's a trench, it's like an army trench down here. And this goes into the trench like that. There we go. So that goes in like that. And somehow this does stuff. Let's hope it all works. And there's another spring that goes over here, so prepare to lose parts again. Yeah, so this thing here is on the outside of that, which is right. And then there's this round spring. So this is the outside of this, and then there's a spring that goes right in here, I think. Oh my God, another spring. That's all I need. Yeah, I got a photo of the spring here. Looks like that. There's the spring there. That goes right in there, and I gotta tuck that in somehow. I'm looking at how that is connected, and this is definitely a spring that's ready to jump, because this goes in after you put excuse me. No, this is going in. I got a cough again. I had a turkey wiener and it's making me cough. Where the heck are you? You're over here on this side. So this goes in, and I got to make sure the larger swooping part of the spring is on this side. So this goes in like that, and it scrunches up. So you get this part in here first. Or I think to do it properly, you got to get the other side in first. And then you got to get this side tucked underneath. I'm going to F this up too, boys. Because I'm fearing of the spring popping problem again. I guess what I could do is, there we go. So that's in like that, and this goes on the edge. And then I just push this spring over and pops out and pisses me off. So I'm just going to put a piece of Rodico on top here. This could cause me more problems then. But if I put a piece of Rodico on there, like that, at least when the spring goes bang, it's not going to take a friggin' flight on me. Yeah, so it goes in like that. You make sure the Rodico doesn't get stuck in the middle there, but see that thing fly? Move the Rodico over to the side. Make sure the spring is still in the hole. I need to use a toothpick or something to help me here. If I keep that down and I just do that, there we go. So that's in now. Now here's the problem. I pull this up and all of a sudden it flies. So I'm going to put another piece of Rodico on the other side. Just sit it there for a second while I move this piece of Rodico. There we go. So that spring is in there. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. And then the wheel. Alright, let's just go back to basics again. And then I got to put together the all the stem and everything. This is going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. So that's in there. The spring's in there. I'm looking at my picture right now. Don't fly anywhere. I'm going to need a few parts here. So I'm going to need this. Need my stem. I'm going to need all these little gears here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and then, oh man, see how easy this thing is to go in. Sorry about that. I'm just worried about that spring flying out. There's no reason for it to fly out, but who knows what's going to happen. So this gear here, I got to look at, see if there's a bevel on it, and there is. So the bevel would be downward, right? So I've got the downward bevel happening. That gear goes right there, so I'm going to just grab it differently. And just like that, put that down there. And then this gear goes on top like this, or not. This gear goes right here. It's the second gear, I guess. Like that. And then the stem, this is the hard part here. I got yet another spring to put in here, which is going to be a pain in the butt again. But this thing here goes down and on the other side of the crown wheel. So I got two wheels here. I've got, I guess, what's this called? I can't remember, the ratchet, the crown, the something or other. And I look at the way these things are configured. It's ratcheting on one side and crowning on the other. So this is the ratcheting side, or this is where it slips and then it grabs the crown. So that goes like that. And then this part here is beveled again, but it's pretty easy because the ratcheting side, you gotta say it like that, this goes right in the hole here, like this. Get in there, like that, and then this part here is what holds the stem in. So, and it goes, this is very tricky stuff, man. This goes, there's a big friggin' thing there. So this goes like this, but you got to get the stem in. So if I put the stem in first, without making these springs go boom. There we go. So that goes like that. And then this part here, I'm just mumbling away, folks. This part goes right over here and holds, there's a little jobby doohickey on the end that holds that stem in place. I have to rotate again to get at it from the right angle. I gotta stay away from all those little springs that are gonna F me up. There we go, perfection. So that goes like that. The tricky part here, I find, is that, okay, that's in there nicely, but you end up on the other side pushing up on that with a pen or something to get this out after it's all settled in nicely. So this is like that, and then I've got this thing here, this arm here, and the arm, this goes over the top to hold that in place, and it rides, I believe it rides on this. So yeah, this would ride downward, I think. So this goes like this. Just gonna let it go here to see if it falls in place for me. And see how that moves that? So that goes like that. Now the tricky part here is there's another spring that goes in here. I'm like fearing big time of putting that spring in because it's going to make everything fly off. So I'm looking at this part here that's holding the whole shibozo down, this whole thing here. And once I get that spring in, I put this on top and it holds the whole mess down in place. Right, that's the theory anyway. So it goes in, yeah, there's a screw hole, it goes in like this, right, but after I get that spring in. So I have to get the spring in. So prepare for some swearing. I'm going to get the screw here that holds that in, because without the screw I'm screwed. Once I get this in, it's not too bad. There's the screw. So this spring here is flat, it goes in just like this. And again, if I push it in from this side, it goes around that post. It goes right around this post here. And then you push this way to get it in. So again, I think Mr. Rodico needs to come into play here to push this spring in place, because by to Jesus, by, she's going to fly out on me, and then I'm going to be swearing like you've never heard before. So if I push some Rodico down here, just nice and gently, I've got this here, and I need to get this spring flat, like that, and then just move this spring all the way in here. That didn't work. Start again. Spring is in here and flat. Could try the other way, but I don't think it's going to work the other way. I need a special device to hold this crap in place. I think even with a toothpick on the spring, it's likely to go flying, even with a toothpick on there. I'm really afraid of this thing. I may have to go in with fingernails here. So stupid me, I cut my fingernails, and now this isn't working as well. I hate these friggin' springs. Just can't stand them. The reason I can't stand them is that they don't seem to want to
do what they're supposed to do, like stay in place. So, and even if you put some pegwood in there or something, you want to pop up. Maybe if I take it from this side and try to push it the other way, perhaps. Get that down there. And then look at it from the angle and see what it looks like. And then push it with the tweezers from this side. It's in, but it's not. Alright, I got it in, but I gotta get this plate on super fast or I'm forked. If that thing goes, I'm screwed. Right, there's the screw. I'm not even breathing anymore. Screw that in as fast as possible. Done. Alright. Now, I get my pictures here again. And see how ugly this is. Alright, I got that in. Yeah, now I got this configuration here. Like that. But the problem here is this little thingamajiggy here. So I saw that before and I was like, okay, what the hell's going on here? Because it's this spring here is supposed to be, the hole here is supposed to be there. So if I were to move this over like that, this thing here is supposed to be in that hole. So what the hell's going on? That's what I'm asking. Now if I pull it all the way out and then I push this in, and then I push this a bit, the hope is that it slides into where that piece there is supposed to be right there. Like that. I'm looking at that and it's barely catching. So I think this is one of the problems with this watch, is it wasn't able to set because of that. Now I'm not sure if when I put the face on, will that hold in place? Not sure. So I know if I pull this out, it's probably gonna, or push this in, it's gonna do that. And then this doesn't work. You know, this part of the spring, I think, is supposed to be on the other side. That's the biggest issue. There we go. That's on the other side, like that. And then if this goes like this, like that, then you're able to set the time. But if it goes like that, then you should be able to wind the watch. But this thing is slipping out of position. So I'm going to fart with this for a little while. and see if there's a major issue here. So I'll be back. I think I got it in place now. So the tricky part here was my dirty thing here is making sure this was sliding on this wheel here for the setting wheel here, and that I had enough real estate that this would go down into position, right? So that was the tricky part. So it did go down into position. So now that I've got it all set like that, I want to be able to throw some stuff on top of that to keep it there. So I'm looking at some plates and stuff that I have in place that I need to move in. So it's a few things here. One of them is this here, right? Which is, let me just orient this watch again. I need to put a screw on top of this, by the way. So that requires a screw, and I think it's this screw right here. I think it's this screw right here. Because this is the screw that's threaded backwards. Which means lefty tighty. I don't want to break anything here, so this is lefty tighty. So if I move it just a bit, loosen it just a bit, is this wheel going to move for me? Yeah, it does. So good. I don't want it to have it that tight. It's funny that though that it wouldn't have, you know, when it rotates like this, that it wouldn't be loose. Even if I tighten it, it should be loose still, right? And I'm snugging it down and it's not loose. So I'm wondering if there's an issue here with this specific wheel that I need to concern myself about. Should look at the picture again and see if I got it in the right way. I think I do. I don't think there's an issue here. It looks right, but I don't like the way it doesn't want to screw down. That's kind of weird. I know this is right here. Gotta keep my eye on that screw there. What I'm going to do is put some Rotor on top there, in case it decides to go for a jump. And the other screw's fine, so just throw some Rotor on there, and I'm going to loosen this up again. And I want to see what's going on underneath this wheel that might cause it to not want to rotate nicely. Nothing much. Well, maybe that's where that thingamajiggy came from. No, this couldn't be it. This little plastic thing that goes on, I don't think that's where it comes from. I'll have a look here. Let me just move this, get this up out of the way for a second. And see if this is where it comes from. Because you never know. No, that's not where it comes from. That is not even close to fitting. I can see the groove. The groove. put this in where that little groove is. There's a little groove right there. A little groove right here. Jesus, Murphy. Yeah, there's a little groove right there, and if I put this pawl in right where that groove is that what it's supposed to do? Because I'll have to move this out of the way. And of course I got that spring there, which is nice. It's ready to fly out on me here. So that's there like that. And if I put the wheel back in, where's that wheel? It's right on the top. I put this wheel, it's the wheel truth. I put this wheel back in over the top of this, like that. And I snug that in. It's my non-gloved finger. Oh my God, what am I doing? I need to kind of move the whole damn thing out of the way, but I'm really afraid of this stupid spring underneath there. I need a needle. When in doubt, grab a needle. Needle and another pair of tweezers. It's like surgery, man. The patient's not going to live on this one. What the frack? I think this goes up like that underneath here. I have the suspicion that it's basically this moves out of the way. And this friggin' thing goes in like this. Oh my God. I'm going to stop this and start it again. This is a crap you got to deal with when you don't have a manual for these. I want to say the F word really badly, but I'm stopping myself. These fracking things. Again, if I move this over out of the way, and then it goes back in like that, I think that's where it's supposed to be anyway. And then this thing here, this wheel will go on top, like that. And then I gotta kind of push all that into place. I think I'll put the screw in. Put the screw in loosely. That'll kind of keep it in place while I maneuver that friggin' thing out of the way. I don't know. See if I can push this over from. See, now that's tight now, and this is still moving. So I think we're good. That's what I wanted. Just like that. All right. Now, without further ado, I have to put the day wheel on, and then make sure that it's got home. So I'm going to just basically put the day wheel on and do that. But I'm going to go under the microscope and clean that jewel on the top. Plus, I'm going to oil this jewel on the bottom, right here. Like that. There we go. Now I'm going to clean this jewel on the top, but let me put this pawl in first. This goes in right here. Just like that. Not sure what that does. Oh, that just rests on the edge of the plate. So if I can get this in before the jewel has to be cleaned. Nah, I really have to put the I got 3 jewels there, 3 jewels there. There's that pawl, the top part, the other part, the other part. So now I gotta clean this. I gotta very carefully take this jewel out and turn it around, clean it, and put it back in again. So I'm going to go under my microscope. I'll be right back. A bit of proof of life here. So this is the movement I'm working on here, and I just oiled the top. Just oiled that jewel right now. Cleaned it and oiled it. Alrighty then. So now I'm going to put the day wheel on. So I gotta get this out of the way without everything getting forked up. I'll very carefully remove this Rodico. I may want to have my tweezers in here as I remove it, so I don't want shit to fly. There we go. I can say the S word, I think, without the YouTube people attacking me, right? There we go. So that's in there now, there, and then now I've got to move this. So basically, this thing here goes back and forth. It fits in the slot. It fits in the square slot. So the question is, do I have it in right? You see, the pokey part is downward, right? That's good. I don't know. It looks like I have it in right. Then when I move this around, I guess, let me see. I guess it kind of fits in there. Like that. I think that's how it goes. I'm looking at a picture here. Show you what I'm looking at. That's the picture I'm looking at. So it looks like it drops in. So the little beak is facing inward. So I got the beak facing inward. So that should be perfect. Just like that, right? And it's next to that jewel, which is perfect. And then I have to put this on top, and this of course has another little spring in it, so it's just a very small spring. I think it pushes that, so this goes on here and pushes the head of this with that spring. So I'm going to see if I can put that in. I don't have my gloves on right now, so I'm going to get in trouble from you guys. No, I don't know. It looks kind of tricky. Let me get my glove back on here. It's the world's... You know what? This is not like a multi-complication watch either. It's just a day-date timer, but it seems to like have a million little springs in it, so I'm like a million little spring boy. So this here thingamajobby, I'm very cognizant of this spring here. That's what's causing me to think this way. Because if I push this over, it's got to basically be grabbing that spring as it pushes over, like that. kind of like that. Exactly like that. Now the question is that spring pushing against the thing? I think it is. So if I just hold my finger there and grab a screw, gotta make sure it's the right screw. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, it's this one here. And I might touch the camera here, but too bad. I gotta get this thing in before it moves. Here we go. That's in there. And just tighten that up. There we go. So that, my friends, is in place. So theoretically, if I put my grab that needle again, it's good to have that needle, by the way, on the end of put a needle on the end here and sharpen it up so you can do very specific work with it. So if I move this, there we go. Look at that. So it's springing back, which is nice, which is exactly what I wanted. That's that side. And then I have to, I think there's another plate I got to put on. That's on the other side. So, and it has, of course, has another friggin' spring on it. It's this plate here. And this part of the plate, oh my God, where the heck does this thing go? Wow. Alright, this is going to be tough, folks. So I think this goes like this. And it goes around. You see, there's this thing here, like that. It goes over here. But it's like this. So it's on like this, not the other way. Like that. And it's right beside this here, so this goes like that, like this, kind of on like this. And then this hook, this part goes all the way over like that. Like that there. So this drops in just like this, I think. And there's 2 screws that have to be put in. I'm looking at a very detailed picture right now of this thingamajobby doohickey. And this one spring goes on this side, and then the other spring pushes on this pawl on the other side. So it's kind of freaky, man. I think I need to screw one of the screws in order to get this thing in place properly. So get these 2 screws here. It's gonna be a long video, boys, because it's just basically, I don't know, I'm a nutcase to want to do this stuff, but I want to do this when I'm retired, not now. So this one goes here. I could just start that screw anyway, right? I know there won't be any harm starting it. So. This goes like that, which is perfect. This goes like this, which is perfect. So I think we got some action happening here. As I bring this down, I'm going to tighten this. Hopefully this still moves. Yep, And then the other screw, it looks like this spring here. Another spring goes over the top like that. And it hooks on, you see where the hook is on this thing. No, actually, there's a jobby doohickey, so it's upside down. So it's upside down. So if I do this and this is how it's supposed to go. So it goes over the top of this thing here. But I'm not putting this in without any Rotico on top of it or something. I'm holding this down because it'll friggin' fly. Okay, there. It goes in like that. Like that. And then it looks like the screw is just sort of here. And it doesn't look like there's any pressure on it. So it just sits there. So the screw here just kind of sits in place here. Like this. Let me screw this in and see if I can see if it makes any sense. Come on, get in there. Screw it backwards. There we go. Yeah, and this just pushes against the screw when it goes this way. So that's how that works. So, oh my God, oh my God, oh me, oh my. See, I get to do at least one impression. So I had my photo here of this and how it's all connected. So I did it. That's what it looked like, rubbing against that screw, but that was it, just sitting there. So it doesn't look like it does anything else. And then so the other part, if I scoot over to the next photo, look at how many pieces I have left. Scoot over to the next photo. I don't have any more photos. Damn. So I think that then that the plate goes on top. So I'll put the hour wheel back on here like this. And it just should slide right in here. And needs to find home. ET, find home. There we go. That's in there, and then you need to put the dial washer in here to push this hour wheel down. So the dial washer goes in like that. Now you guys are going to be writing me and saying, oh my God, this is the world's longest Tissot reassembly. But I'm telling you, this was not an easy job. As you saw, all done from photographs. And then this goes in right on top. Just falls in. So it doesn't look like there's anything. This is like not the dial, so this just sort of goes in like that. I'm seeing if there's a way that it fits where it just falls into place. Well, I think the dial washer is just pushing it up. That's all. There. Like that. And then the dial pushes straight down onto all of this. So I'm going to grab this dial here. And there's the Tissot dial. And this would push straight down onto all of this. Hopefully this all works nicely. Come on. Get in there. Wow. Wowsy, wowsy, woo woo. Now, I'm going to look at this, the configuration of this, the Wednesday, Tuesday thing here to see if this is making any sense at all. I don't want to click over, but maybe that's the way this thing used to work. Couldn't tell you. Wow, what a watch. Let me have a look at the other side here. See what's going on. So I basically had to take the plate off again and fart with this to make sure it works properly. And so I'm just putting the screws back in because I took this plate off, and to make sure I had smooth running kind of day setting. It definitely wasn't smooth running. And I'm hoping that see, you should never hope in watchmaking, but this time I am hoping. I'm hoping that it works perfectly. So I move this spring out of the way here while I tighten the screw down. And this thing here, this jobby doohickey here, goes against the hour wheel, I think. I think this has to go up like that. You know what? I'll bet you any money. This spring here tucks in right around this little knob here. That makes sense. Right there. There we go. There we go. There we go. Wow. Quite the adventure. So yeah, so this spring here actually tucked in around this thing here. But when you take this stuff apart, you're never given the opportunity to actually see how it works. So it's tricky as hell. Alright, so that's good there. And now when I turn this, I'm getting some day action. There we go. And this will go all the way around again. I'm hoping. Give me another click. There it is. I think that's working. Now, this here part right here, this part right here is the one that pushes against the hour wheel, or the day wheel. So this is the day wheel here, like this, and then this pushes against the day wheel. So hopefully I can get this in and move this back so it's pushing against the day wheel. I'm not sure how to do that, but I think it's a matter of lining these up and then pushing it back. You can see that it's not pushing there, so I gotta somehow get it out of the way to push that against the day wheel, which means I gotta use my needle or something to get this back. Come on, get back to where you once belong. There we go. There we go. So right in there. So you can see, look at the little hole right there. Get that back here. Right there, I had to push this back with the needle to get this in. So that should work. That should be good right there. And then I'll press this back down again. And this better work. If it doesn't work, I'm not doing it anymore. That'll be it. That's when I give up. Am I allowed giving up? I think I should be allowed giving up. Look at the edges here, make sure this is on. And it is. Let me just turn this and see what happens. So now I'm turning the actual time here. And I'm not sure if it'll turn the 26 to 27, who knows. It doesn't, oh, there we go, look at that. Thursday. It just went Thursday on me. What the hell? You just keep turning this and see what happens. That thing just clicked. Not sure if that'll go Thursday, Friday, or whatever, but it should, but it doesn't look like it wants to. Turn it back the other way. Nothing's happening. I think there's a pall there. There we go. Look at that. 27th. So just turning it backwards actually makes the date go forward. The day rather. The date actually. So that worked. Cool. Cool. That's some success here, which I've been friggin' waiting for since I started working on this watch. This is not an easy watch to work on. Oop, I'm gloveless. Turn this thing around. So what I want to do now, very carefully, because I don't want the face to get marred at all, but I want to keep that on. So what did I do? Put some plastic down maybe? It's probably the smart thing to do. Put some plastic down, folks. Put some plastic down. Because now I just want to rest it like this. Just like this. And maybe wind it just a few turns here on this. A little bit of pressure on it. There we go. So I don't want the face to get marred. So now I got to put on the automatic mechanism on the top. So I'm going to cut away here for a second. Alright, so I'm going to put this automatic mechanism on the top. I've already done the wheel thing, so let's see if this just fits over nicely. I think I have to take this, I can put it on like this without taking the wheel out maybe. So this kind of just lines up like this. Just layer this down here and see if this works. I got 2 jewels, baby. 2 jewels. So if this just goes on like this, and these jewels, these wheels should be able to find their home. Come on. Alright, I'm going to just put these screws in lightly again, just so I know they're in. But I got to make sure the pivots in the bottom are in place here. So. It's funny when you're doing this that you kind of get used to it, but when you're putting together a watch again that has it's old and it's there's no real reason for it to go together the way you want it to. I'm checking for cracks to make sure that the pivots have fit in properly and the gears are still loose, which they are, which is nice, right? And then this is going to be my last and final attempt at this watch. If it doesn't work, too bad. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm telling that to the guy that owns it, because he just kind of threw it at me and said, "Hey, can you fix this?" It's like, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, everything seems to be loose still, so it's all good. I push this in and see this thing, theoretically this should be winding, right? But it doesn't want to wind. So maybe it only winds when you got the winding mechanism in there. So it might not be a winding and setting watch. It may just be may need the rotor to wind it. Don't know. So the rotor now, the rotor would go right over the top. And I'll oil that after, but I think this rotor just plucks onto the top. I don't think this, remember earlier I had this little piece of jobby doohickey stuff here, but I don't think this went anywhere. I think this was from some other friggin' piece of job. Not this one. Doesn't make any sense. So if I put the rotor on, the gears of the rotor should mesh with the gear down here. I think. Let's just put this baby down and see what happens. So the rotor's on there. And I'm definitely getting some action. Yeah, it's working. So I don't think this thing winds. I think it's winding and whatever. I think it's just because this doesn't wind when it's like in this position. You think it does, but it doesn't. So all I need to do now is put on this clip. I remember taking this clip off, how much fun that was. So let's see if I can put this on without having a heart attack. It's the world's nastiest clip. Wow. Now, let me just put my finger down here. And this clip kind of goes underneath everything. And then you push it in. Like that. Clip is in. See if I can rotate this thing and everything works. Yeah. I'm going to put a little oil on it now. What a job. Holy crap. The world's longest movie. I'm going to put some oil right here as well. get the Rodico in there to get to de-oil it actually, because I may have put too much oil in here. De-oil. There. Now, see if this swings for me. Oh, yes it does. Look at that. Yep, swinging nicely. Alright, so now the last piece of the whole puzzle is to put in the bounce and see if it ticks. Alright. Probably should have put this in a long time ago, but anyway. Let's see what happens here. And pause for a second, take a breath. Alright, put the balance in. I've got to do a few things. I've got to make sure that the thing is on the right side, the correct side. And then I'm going to take the balance like this. And I'm going to enter it from that side. Like this. And then turn it around. See if I'm praying that this works, but I'm praying it works. Can't let this fall down either, because it'll go for a complete spill all the way down to the ground and stretch the spring, and then I'm screwed. No, no, it's on the wrong side of the pallet fork. I'm going to put this down and take my glove off for this one here, because it's tricky as shit. Man, oh man. Getting in close here. Come on. You have to put the screw in here to get this thing to come to life. So we very carefully put the screw in for the balance cock so it has a chance. I'm not going to screw that down nice and hard because I'm worried. Alright, come on, balance. Just trying to see if there's anything blocking that, because it was snapping in. So. May need a good wind or something too. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can wind this and go back. Alright, takes a licking but keeps on ticking. So it's not ticking with great amplitude, But I'm going to let this baby run for a while and see if it settles into some pretty good amplitude. So the mainspring isn't really wound that hard right now, but I'm pretty happy that it's actually going. So all good. So it's been cleaned and everything else, and I'm going to put this back together into the watch. Not too shabby at all.